I think we're live. All right, all right. Let me remove some things real quick. Move this back up on the screen. Move that there. All right. Hello, YouTube. How are you guys today? Welcome, anyone, to the stream. And then also, if you're rewatching this after the stream has already come out, hello to you as well. Today's stream, we're going to be doing the best house. If you guys did not watch before, we've done a best characters bracket before in the last two streams. This stream, we're going to be doing the best house. This was recommended by the chat last stream, and I also did a poll, and this is what was decided. So yeah. Hi Zen book review. This one again is going to be Google form polls and all of that. I might as well put that in here while we're waiting for people to come into the stream. So there is the poll already to start voting. Let me pin this. All right. So I want to also say on the format. Hi Matthew, how are you? I'm going pretty good. Pretty tired, you know, a lot of workout today, and then just getting the stream ready and stuff. I want to add more alerts and stuff to certain things, but yeah. Zen book review, a non-biased opinion, of course, but the House Blackfire is a pretty great house. If you didn't watch yesterday's video, it was all about Aegon and the Blackfires. Hi Evie, how are you? But yeah, the format of this house bracket or whatnot is basically so each one of these top brackets up here would have 8 houses from a certain kingdom. So the top you have up here are the north. Now, certain kingdoms, this was a lot harder to do than for others. Hi, Great Scott. I'm going to go with that being your name. But yeah, how are you? And I also, so basically on this, there were some categories that were harder to do than others. So I tried to do all 7 kingdoms plus the crown ones. But then it kind of run into the Iron Islands have a lot of important houses. So I kind of mixed them in a certain part of the bracket. But yeah. Hello, Uncle Dave Zilla. Good day, fellow lords and ladies. That is correct. That is correct. So as you'll see on here, we have the Riverlands. And then I also mixed in the Greyjoys and Harlaws, and then also moved the Blacktide and Boltley houses into the Stormlands as well. So a little bit of that part of it is a little kind of weird, but I wanted to include the Greyjoy houses. I just didn't know how to do it fitting in the way that I did it. And it made the most sense for me to kind of put them into the Riverlands bracket as well. And then I just kind of put them into the Baratheon Stormlands because I think out of all of them, I think the Stormlands have the least known houses out of all of them. But yeah. But besides that, you'll see the Crownlands. I mixed the Targaryens in there as well. So you have the Targaryens, the Blackfires, the Velaryons, Celtigars. I moved those into their own little thing. So the idea of the stream and how the bracket should go is that each kingdom will have its own little section. We'll figure out who you guys like as the best house in a kingdom. And then as we progress, we'll start to knock out, entire parts of the world, more or less, like the North, like the Stormlands and all that. So that is kind of the idea of the stream. For the most part, I only used houses that were included in the main story. I did get a little, some things I got a little crazy on. I put the Tarbecks and the Rains in there, but yeah. It's kind of weird that I'm listening to the Rains of Castamere right now with this. Yeah. Okay, so this is what is hilarious, Matthew, is that when I was doing this, I did not have the intent of putting the Rains with the Lannisters. I kind of noticed that as I was doing it, but yeah. But yeah, Blackwoods versus Brackens. Yep, that's, I thought it was kind of fitting, but yeah. Also, I tried to stay away from putting the top the top house for the Riverlands is the Tullys, right? Because they're the ruling ones. I tried to avoid placing them against another really strong one in that category. So yeah. Hi Jim, how are you? But yeah, that is more or less how it's going. Jordan, you are not late at all. I have not even looked at the polling yet. I just put the link. It's pinned in the comments right now. But yeah. This was scheduled for 7 p.m. So I actually started the stream a couple minutes early. So again, you're not late at all, Jordan. But yeah. Just noted that, guys, I'm just going to let you know. If something's scheduled for 7 p.m. on a stream, I will probably be 5 minutes early. That's just how I am as a person, right? So, Zen book review. I don't know if they really are like, I just made their house a house, honestly. Because Peter Baelish does like have his own like sigil and stuff like that, and like they do have land, and I think they're kind of intriguing. So I put them in there just to put them in there. And also, I'll be honest, I don't think the Vale has a lot of interesting houses. I think there's a decent amount, but like if you look at some of these on here, it's like they're whatever. Yeah, yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Great Scott. That's kind of, yeah. They're not like a one with a big history or anything, but when you look at like from trying to pick houses from the Vale from the main story, there's not a lot to choose from. So I just kind of decided to throw House Baelish in there, as Peter is in control of the Vale right now, more or less. So yeah. Also, speaking of Littlefinger and Peter, I will be doing a video on his plans with Sansa on Friday. I think it'll be out. I think it'll be out on Friday. I'm not 100% sure on that. I always get confused what videos come out, but I think I have a Littlefinger video coming out Friday. Thursday is a Tywin video. So last stream, someone had suggested I do a like Tarbeck and Rhaen's rebellion type video for Tywin. So I ended up doing that one. I did that on Thursday, or that's gonna be up Thursday. And then today, as the stream got uploaded, I did a video continuing our series on the like how could someone have won the War of the Five Kings. Today's was Renly. That video was actually really fun to do because I went a different twist with it rather than just saying, "Oh, don't die to Stannis," like, or he doesn't die to Stannis. Like Mel doesn't work. I tried to go a different route with it. Major House Stark, minor House Hornwood of Hornwood, House Underland of the Three Sisters, House Master, Seaguard, Lonely, House of the Dogs. Those are some solid ones. Those are some solid houses. Not gonna lie. But yeah. So for anybody watching the stream, that is kind of, you know, the way I designed the bracket and some other things. Karstark is such an underrated North House. It has such a rich history. Maybe give it a quick brief before people. You know what? You know what, Zen Book Review? No, because that's gonna sway the vote. Like the Karstarks are a really intriguing house, but here's my thing, Zen Book Review. I want people to just base this on their own knowledge, right? Like, I want people to do this on what house they know more without me telling them a bunch of information to maybe think they would like that house. I don't know. It's a weird way of phrasing that, Zen Book, but like, yeah. Yeah, those are some good houses of each religion, Matthew. I agree. Those are some good ones. Wildling tribe bracket. That's a fair point. Also, I will say, so I think what I'm going to do is, oh my god, I dropped my water. I think I'm going to do 2 streams per bracket we do. So I think we're going to have like a best house bracket, which will be the winners. So this will be the winner side, right? And then I think I want to do a second one where I redo it. I redo the bracket, so I switch up who's playing each other. Maybe I'll randomize it. I don't know. And then have a losers bracket, and then the loser plays the winner, kind of like how we did in the 2 character streams. Just got here, almost missed it because of the original plan day change. Not sure I'll be able to stick around the whole time, but I voted for round 1. Cool. Sounds good, Citro. Good. Sounds good. But yeah, I wanted to do. Did Ygritte have a last name? I don't think her last name's ever name dropped in the. I don't think so, because the wildlings don't put a big as like emphasis on your last name. Like it's not as big of a thing like as it is in like Westeros, or like the kingdoms, not Westeros, like the kingdoms. So I don't think so. Jordan's saying no as well, so I'm pretty sure it's a no there. But yeah, Citro, I was just about to say, yeah, I was gonna do it on Friday, because today I was actually booked on a lot of stuff that I had to do today. But I ended up doing a lot of things a lot earlier, like working out, and then I hung out with one of my friends today, earlier, so I had a lot of extra time to do it today. And usually I do streams on Monday, so again, we should be back to Monday schedule. So this was just kind of an anomaly week where I kind of made plans with someone, kind of forgot that I need to stream on Mondays. So hopefully it's gonna be Mondays from now on. So I just started this book series this year, so the houses are all fresh in mind. It was replaced my favorite book series, which was Lord of the Rings. Those are two good favorite book series for me. You know what's interesting to me, Evie? I don't know how you feel about this personally, but do you like that in the books, so especially Two Towers, that instead of us getting kind of all of the plots like spliced within each other, so like in the movie, right, we'll see Aragorn scenes, then we'll see Merry scenes, Frodo scenes, they'll all be mixed together. Do you like that in the book it separates all those storylines, or do you like that in the movie they put them all together? I'm curious on what your opinion is on that. Tormund does neither. Yeah, it's just Tormund Giantsbane, that's it. I think wildlings only get titles, not last names. Same with small folk until they're knighted or lorded. I think so, Jordan. I think that's how it goes. Yeah. I'm gonna let this poll probably go till like 7:10, just because I did start the stream a bit early, so we'll probably give it another 5 minutes. But yeah, I'm curious. Who do you guys have as like a dark horse candidate? Maybe not a house that like is the most well known, but is one that you could definitely see going pretty far. Like, for me, that's tough. I don't know. I need to reread the Lord of the Rings books. Movies do... Oh, you should, by the way, Jordan. Movies do the Lord of the Rings better. I think so, too. But the only way I would change it... I think the first book is... I kind of like the first book more than the first movie, just based on the fact that, like, my favorite part of the first movie is the adventure getting to Rivendell, and it's a lot more expanded upon, and even though Tom Bombadil is kind of an annoying little chapter, I kind of like how there's more to it, and there's more going on in that area of the books. But yeah, I would say the movies do better for me for the books. No House Marbrand. You know what, Citro? I'm going to be honest. I had already created the bracket, and I thought about that. I was like, there's no Marbrand. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of feel bad, but at the same time, I don't really. I just got them, and I've read The Hobbit, but it takes a lot of time to read. That's true. I've actually been reading The Hobbit as well. I usually, like, take 20 minutes before I go into work, and I actually, like, usually read a chapter or something. What was Davos before he was knighted? Was he still Davos Seaworth? Is that like, because he wouldn't have been Sir Davos Seaworth, and he was just a smuggler basically, so he didn't actually have any land, I don't think either. So, Evie, I like they put the scenes together. I agree on that. The books sometimes do things compact. That's true. House Fossaway, Jordan. That's a good shout. That's a good one. Blackfire or Valerian are going to go far, in my opinion. I agree. I think the problem's going to be, will you guys vote them higher than the Targaryens? Because no matter what, whoever wins out of Blackfires, Valerians, Stokeworth, or Celtigars, they're going to have to play the Targaryens, and that's such a difficult match. Just because I think the Targaryens, not the main story, because again, I'm not the biggest Dany fan, but the Targaryens have such a rich history. It's really hard to put a house above them. Like, if you guys have seen my top 10 favorite / best video, I did have the Targaryens at 1. So I'm interested to see what you guys think on that one. Davos was a small folk, so he wouldn't have had his surname. Yep. Makes sense, Kato. Or Kato. My favorite is Baratheon. That's a good shout. I think Baratheon is... They're either second or third. Them and the Starks, I think you're right there. I don't want to tell you guys all my favorite. Well, there's not really a point, because I feel like a lot of you have probably watched that video, so you probably know what my, like, thoughts are on all the houses. But if we were going off of just the 5, like, books, like, no lore, nothing like that, I would say probably the Baratheons are my favorite. Davos is an example that seems like it was not thought out about too hard to see, with the other small not having names, but maybe he had famous answers. That's true, Jordan. That is true. House Martell is my black horse because I find them fascinating. I think that's a good shout. I mean, I think the interesting match for them is going to be... I think likely they're going to have to probably go against the Danes. And that I think is going to be interesting to see what you guys pick on that one. And then they also have the Vale part of the lower bracket. So I definitely think that's a good shout, honestly. Manderley for a surprise Final Four. They're going to have to beat the Starks for that one. I don't know. I mean, that's a tough one. House Went is my dark horse pick. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. I'm trying to see. Oh, they got Tully's first round, though. I don't know about that one, Hot Noodle. I mean, I don't really particularly like Tully House in the main story, but they have a really, they have a lot of cool lore figures, just in general. Hot take, Blackfire, Targaryens, Daemon over Bloodraven every time. Citro, I'm kind of with you on that one. I do kind of like the Blackfires, but I like the Targaryens history a bit more, but in that specific example you used, I would probably go with you on that one. I think Tarly kicks some big Reach houses. That's true. Dude, I think the Reach has some of the best houses. Like, they have so many, notable ones. How about Clarence Crab, the best knight who ever lived? Hey, man. He just didn't make the cut, you know? He didn't make the cut. Yeah, but here's the funny part. I didn't actually think this through, though. Hugo, is that the Starks and Targaryens, if they do make it out of their region's bracket, they're gonna have to play each other pretty early on. So the most we could ever see with those two houses would be top, I think, 8. Let's see what else we got on here. The Sword breaks the house. Yep, still haven't read The Hobbit or The Lord of the Rings. Matthew, you got to get on that. 2 fantastic books. It's actually amazing to me when I read The Hobbit that they took one book, The Hobbit, and turned it into 3 movies. There was not enough book material for that. I'm gonna say it. The first movie takes up 100 pages of the book. No. You should do a video about abandoned store. Ooh, that's you know what? Any video ideas I usually screenshot from streams because I'll forget, but that is a really good one. I will definitely put that on the list. I agree with you, Kato, on that one. It is going to be settled. All right, I'm going to go ahead and look at the poll for the first round. If I can find it. Oh, there we go. All right, so for round 1, Stark versus Mormont, we had an 88.9% victory for House Stark. There were a total of 2 people that chose House Mormont. That's a little surprising. A little surprising. But, yeah. Oh, Kato, by the way, your take on the Freys, I agree, by the way. I think the Freys are a cool house. I know that, they're not the greatest people in the world, but I think they're a cool house. You know, I don't really care what you say. I think they're a cool house. But House Mormont goes down. We're going to use... I don't like using yellow highlighter at the beginning. Let's do green highlighter at the beginning. There we go. All right, Umber versus Karstark. Now, this is an interesting one. With a 55.6% win percentage, we have House Umber moving on. I probably would have agreed with you guys on that one. If I was voting, I think I would have agreed on that as well. I think House Umber is a pretty awesome house. I think the Karstarks are as well. But I genuinely just like the Great John Umber. A little bit of biased. And the numbers are just cool in general, in my opinion. Yeah, the Hobbit movie was definitely overextended. Agreed. Peter Jackson should not have been the director for the Hobbit because he was trying to compare it to... Yeah, it's true. He was doing a lot of things in there to, in my opinion, connect it to the series, and it was just stuff that didn't make sense. The whole, Aragorn Legolas thing at the end of the 3rd movie, where Legolas... or Thangwil... I don't know how to say his name. Says to Legolas, go find Aragorn. It's Aragorn's a kid. At that point, I think lore-wise, he is a kid. This guy does not have a name. What? No. But yeah. So the last something kind of sucks for houses. I kind of agree with you on that one, Matthew. I'm gonna be honest. All right, let's continue on. House Bolton beats House Glover, 68.4%. All right. All right. I kind of saw that one coming. I didn't really think we were going to have a surprise there. So far for me, not any surprises yet. I'm interested to see when we get later on into the bracket what you guys do, but the problem with when we do these, oh, I just minimized that, my bad. The problem with some of these early on rounds when I do it this formulaic where it's kind of a ranking or seeding type style is these early rounds are usually going to be heavily one-sided. The man release beat the reads 68.2% to some other percent. I'm not doing math. But that one kind of surprises me because I always see people that really like the reads, so I kind of expected they maybe could pull one out on the man release, but it doesn't seem like it's going to happen. The Giant Changelord is epic. Love the Great Giant. That's true. That is true. Crow's Food and Horror's Bane. Yeah, they have really good nicknames. Somebody suggested that I should do a bracket on just the nicknames, which I think would be really cool. Got here late. Hi, everyone. Hi, Devora. How are you? How have you been doing? Targaryens versus House Riker. Some mad lad out there put one vote for Riker. Okay, you know what? I respect the hustle. I respect the hustle. When you really hate House Targaryen, I guess you gotta make it known. Oh, shoot. Hold on. I need to erase what I just did. Hold on. Okay, there we go. I kind of goofed there and did it a little too much. Okay, there we go. Draw. Let's get rid of House Riker. House Riker is dead. They're deceased. The only one I had difficulty with is Connington versus Dondarrion, to be honest. Yeah, personally, I don't think I would have a lot of problems in doing this first round, but yeah. Oh, I'm gonna manually as alone as 2 OP to lose to the reads. That's true. That's true. Manderleys and Frey Pies. Yep. House Reed doesn't have Wyla either. That's true. That's a good point. That's a good point. Okay, so moving on. We have Massey or Rosby. House Rosby wins with a 61%. So Massey is gone. Rip the Masseys. You hate to see it, but you know, sometimes shit happens. Blackfire versus Stokeworth, I'm not even going to look at because I already know it's going to be the Blackfires. Just based upon the comments. And on this one, I feel like it's a little obvious. So we're just going to... I'll make sure. Maybe you guys did some weird stuff, but I'll make sure. 2 of you voted against House Blackfire. Okay, these people need to be exposed. Who did it? Who did it? All right, somebody tell me who voted for the Stokeworths over House Blackfire. I need to know. I need to know. You did it. Let me know down in the comments. I agree with you, Citra. I agree with you on that one. Justin Massey is a good lad. House Velaryon won pretty easily over Celtigar. Yeah. All right. Dude. I've got to figure out a better way of doing this. But the problem is, like, there's just no good tiers that let you put in, like, this many, like, teams. Unless it's, like, March Madness. Like, it makes you put in basketball teams. Like, I don't care about basketball. Basketball? We're talking about, like, some important shit in these streams. We don't care about basketball. All right, Tully or Went. Tully won. I'm also going to move on. The Blackwood House also won, for those of you that were you know, wanting to know. So Tully and Blackwood. Rip House went. They've been extinguished for the 2nd time now. And House Bracken also took the L. The person who voted Riker and Stokeworth really hates dragons. Dude. They're the Maesters in my Maester conspiracy videos, so I'm just gonna say it. I did because Malus, the monsters, danks. No. Great Scott, you can't with that nonsense. No, I'm joking. But yeah, I didn't know the Faith of the Seven was voting here. A Lady Went was very interesting, and even the Wents before Lady Went, even the Wents that, you know, were in the... Why am I blanking on the name? The Kingsguard. Oh my god. Sometimes I have brain farts when I start these streams. Did I upgrade? Yeah, okay. Frey versus Malister. Okay, so this was a dead tie. So we're going to do a YouTube poll right now. We are doing a poll right now on Frey or Malister because it is a dead tie. And then let's change this to Frey. I need you guys right now to vote in the YouTube poll that I'm putting out. Who wins? It is a dead tie right now. Vote in this poll. All right. Which house is Dumbledore and Gandalf in? So, Dumbledore, you see, he is in... I'm trying to think what would be a good house for Dumbledore. Or Dumbledore. Let's put Dumbledore in House Dane. They've got a lot of, you know, magical things going on there. Maybe we're told, like, you know, that this house just they got some weird stuff going on. So we're gonna say Dumbledore or I keep calling him Dumbledore. What do I keep calling him that? Dumbledore. He is in House Dane. Now, Gandalf is actually in House Hightower because he doesn't want there to be dragons. I don't know. I don't know. Because he leads a party of dwarves to, you know, Erebor and all that. I don't know. Which are LOL. Bittersteel gets cucked again, at least by our Stilladin. Frey is a better house, even if they're mostly assholes. That's correct. You mistype Malister. You know, sometimes I just struggle with English and typing. But thank you for letting me know. Better than the Malisters, though? IDK about that. Matthew, I don't know, man. Hightower up in the tower working on magic. Gandalf is a Hightower, yeah. Frey is better. Makes sense. Yep. All right. Okay, the poll is right now at 52% to 48%. Do we have any late votes that would like to switch the vote? Because right now the Freys are winning by 1 vote, I would assume. Gandalf is high in general. That's true. Dumbledore is behind the Grand Maester conspiracy, confirmed. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to give it to the Freys. The poll is going to end. And we're going to give it to the Freys. So the Freys beat the Malisters. It was a very close one, actually. You know what, guys? I can't do lines, okay? As you just saw, I don't know what that was right there. But I tried my best. All right, House Greyjoy or Harlaw? Greyjoy took the dub. And also, House Blacktide barely took the vote over the Boltleys. So, Boltleys, gone. Harlaws, gone. Greyjoys have secured their okay. Right, there we go. And then Blacktide's Baratheons against the Estermont House. I'm hoping they're going to win. Okay, the Baratheons did win. Pretty convincingly. And then Connington won over Dondarrion. All right. So Baratheon. And then also Connington. And then I'm going to check the last one, and then I'll look at chat. All right, what is the last one on this side? House Tarth barely beats House Selmy. Rip Barristan the Bold, but he does go down. All right, Tarth. And then, you know what, guys? You know what I want to see in the finals? Oh, my. What was that? Holy cow. I can't draw straight lines. Guys, this is why I would not be good at art. If you guys ever saw my art in high school, you guys would literally, I don't know what you do, but you throw up. Freys have done more, honestly. I agree with you on that one, Kato. Do you think Arianne will marry Fagon/Aegon? I do think she will, or at least she will try. I definitely think that's where the story is going. Whoever voted for Frey is going in a pie. Matthew, I would have voted for House Frey. So, just for Bolty and Shambles, rejected by Asha and by the voters. Oh, sorry. Yeah, my guy Boltley, he just, Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. I voted for the Freys to let them get beat by a more badass house. Who are they playing next round? Frey or Blackwood? That's an interesting one. That's an interesting one. All right, here we go. Going on the right side of the bracket, we have House Redwine beating Rowan, and then we have House Tarley beating Merryweather. I kind of saw that coming. I mean, I didn't. Oh wait, did I miss one? Yeah, I missed Tyrell's. Hold on. Tyrell's also one. I don't think that was anyone really. I don't think anyone else is gonna vote against them. So, Rowan, you guys lost. House Merryweather, you guys lost. Yeah, there we go. And then highlight House Tyrell, Redwine, and Tarley. Now, will the High Towers prevail? Or will House Florent prevail? House Florent, they got some weird characters in House Florent, but they are cool in their own little way. House Hightower did end up getting the dub, though. You know what? I would really like to see a Hightower versus Targaryen match. I know that'd have to be the final, but that would be a really cool one. Just to humor me. That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah. Hi Paul, how are you? Let's see. Do you think Dany will remarry, and if so, who? I think it's very unlikely Daenerys will marry again. Because now I think Hizdar is not going to die. I think he could possibly be left in a position to rule after Daenerys does actually leave. Because I think Hizdar is very progressive. And I think there is some things going on with Hizdar. But I do think Dany will not remarry. I don't know. I don't think Dany wants to, for one. And two, if you look at all the possible candidates to marry Daenerys, it would be like Victarion. She already said no to Quentyn, so not Quentin. Possibly Jon in the future, maybe. I don't know. If they go the kind of if George kind of goes the show route, Fagon, I just don't think it makes sense for those two to be a couple. I think George is really much building towards them having a conflict. So I personally don't think Dany will. I agree with you, Citro, on the sell me problem. Chris Boltley, the original simp. That's true. I lost almost every vote. Hugo, that's not what you like to see. Damn, Rowan's probably going to be the first to flip for Aegon, so rip. Yep. I like the Estermont, but compared to the Braggons, are no contest. That's correct. I agree with you on that one as well, Kato, on the Brackens and Blackwoods. Hightower supported by the great other. Yeah, you know what? I could see it. That's also true, Devra. That's true. On Hugo's stuff. The young wolf. She doesn't want the world to know she's barren. That is true. She doesn't want that to be known, and because that is like a big thing. Like, because one of the things we look at when you're looking at a suitable marriage partner, like even think back to the Red Wedding, and Catelyn was very much trying to figure out if Rosalind would be fit to have Edmure's children. It was a really big thing for Cat. So that is really a thing you actually would want to keep secret in this world, because it pretty much destroys your, I guess, marriage value, even though Daenerys would be really powerful and people would still line up to marry her, even if they knew that. All right, let's look at Lannisters. Lannisters, they won 100% of the vote. Someone cue the Reigns of Castamere, because it's happened once again. Yeah, I'm trying to... Yeah, okay, there we go. Westerling versus Tarbeck is another interesting one for me. House Westerling did get the vote. I do think House Tarbeck is a really interesting house. When you look at like their history and how Tywin puts down the rebellion. Again, if you guys are watching this after it's already it's a video now, it's on a stream. I do have a Tywin. I will have a Tywin video up this week on the rebellion as well. So yeah. I completely forgot to type out the winner, but I'll do that later. Clegane versus Lefford, and the Clegane house just kind of destroyed. So yeah, not really. I kind of saw that one coming. Let's see. Swift versus who's it? Swift versus Payne. House Payne demolished House Swift. Again, saw that coming. Even though I do think the Swift house is an interesting house, but I think Payne's are just cooler. Again, I don't know what that line was. We're not going to talk about that line. All right. See what I missed in the comments. Merryweather would be an interesting wrinkle in Winds of Winter if Tien returns to. That is true. Danny's clearly going to marry Euron. How can you resist a finger in the You know what? That's true, Citra. That's true. Isn't there some sort of prophecy that hints Danny will marry 3 times? I don't think so. I mean, she's gonna have 3 betrayals. That's one of the prophecies given to her. She's gonna have like 3 betrayals. But I don't think it was hinted at that she will marry 3 times. No, I don't think so. Come on, we don't need another dance with the dragons, with the Hightowers and the Targaryens. I think we do, Matthew. I totally think Jonas will happen in the books. Possible. I voted Tarbeck. I don't like the Westerlings, to be honest. Personally, Sideshow, I don't either. I feel like there was a lot of going on there, and I feel like they kind of set up Robb to fail. Like, it wasn't something where they were actively, like, trying to get with Robb. It was one of those things where I think... So, Jane Westerling, I think it's her grandmother, if I'm not mistaken. It's either her grandmother or mother. I always get confused on it. I think, like, basically what ended up happening there is, like, they planted Jane Westerling to be the one that was, like, healing Robb when he was injured, to maybe see if that could possibly happen where Jane could, like, entice him and then eventually sleep with her, and then bam. Because it's a win-win situation for the Westerlings either way. Because either way, how you look at it, you on one side, it would be, okay, well, now we're married to the King of the North, or 2, we can just go back with Tywin and kind of betray Robb, and I can make sure Jane doesn't get pregnant. Like, it's a kind of a win-win situation for them. But yeah. Yes, Jane is returning in Winds of Winter Prologue. I think I'm going to be doing a video about that next week. Are we sure that Euron will take Old Town? I'm not so sure. I think he will at least sack a good part of it, but I don't think he's going to completely take it over, no. What do you think about the theory that Jane switched because Kat describes her hips differently than Jaime? I haven't actually ever heard that theory, but personally, I don't know why they would be switched. But yeah, Jordan, give me some reasoning on behind that theory, because personally, I've never heard of that theory. I'm not sure why. Like, what would the purpose be? I guess would be my question on that one. House Martell one, and then House Blackmont one as well. Just wanted to hit a couple of those. Sorry if I get distracted, and if you're watching this back, I get a little distracted sometimes with chat and answering questions and such. All right, House Martell got the win, and then House Blackmont also got the win. All right, House Dane versus Tallinn. I think Dane's going to probably win. Yeah, Dane won, and also Yornwood won. Again, not really surprised by those. I think I'm just going to finish out the bracket real quick, guys, and then I'll answer your questions. Aaron versus House Hunter. House Aaron won, not surprisingly. House Corbray won over Waynwood. Again, I don't know. That one, I guess, I feel like was a little bit more 50-50, but I think you guys did pick the right one there. And then Baelish Belmore, House Baelish won, and then House Royce won. And that will end out our first round. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think are you guys screwed up on one of them or what? Also, I agree with you on that one, Citro. It would be funny if Dany was the Mummer's Dragon and Young Griff was actually Rhaegar's son. That actually would be cool. And there are theories that, like, Dany's not actually a Targaryen, but I think she is, personally. Have you done a video on the Red Wedding 2.0 theory? It's also still out there, so we could bump into later. So I actually have, Great Scott. I've done kind of like 2 videos technically on it. I've done a video where I did a Lady Stoneheart Winds of Winter predictions. It was a video very long ago. Like, it was one of my first videos, and it talks a bit more like that. The Red Wedding is in it, like the theory there. And then I also did the theory that I think Joe Magician was the one that kind of brought it to like the forefront. It was where I first heard of it, on the idea of Rob being brought back and kind of like maybe as like a wolf head and it's his body. But I did it there. I talked a little bit about it when I did my 1,000 subscriber YouTube video. I talked about it a little bit in there. I'm not sure if I ever actually did one on the theory, but that is a good, you know, I'm gonna screenshot that because I should definitely revisit that theory. It could be just an inconsistency, but I think the switch was just the Lannisters had the wrong person and Jane is pregnant and maybe in hiding. Possibly, but I don't know. For story, for me, I feel like there's so many characters, there's so many switches, there's so many hidden like characters. I don't know. I think that one, I don't know. Jane was a hoe. I agree, Matthew. I kind of liked the way that they switched it on the show version. I like that it was more of a love thing than it was like Rob just kind of, you know, sleeping with her and kind of being horny. I kind of like the way the show went about it a bit more. It also kind of fit in the show. It fit a bit more of the theme of like John's story as well. So, all right, give me a second, guys. I probably won't answer as many comments just because I got to edit the bracket. And then I also got to make the next poll. But yeah. Let me know. Let me know. Out of these next matchups, which ones do you think are going to be the hardest for you guys to choose? I'm curious. I think some of them, like, they have great, like, houses names or whatever. But because one's more of, like, a bad character, like Manderley versus Bolton is a really intriguing one to me just because they are 2 really awesome houses, but like we're supposed to kind of hate one of the houses, so I don't know if you guys can hear that, but my dad is just randomly singing like down the hall. Like my man's like, you guys know like Mace Tyrell and that like the Bravo scene in the show. That's what it sounds like outside my room right now. All right, House Rosby. All right, Blackfire versus Valarian. That's a tough one. That is a tough one. Valarian. Also, if you guys don't know, I basically make a Google form in the middle of streams because I kind of have to, because I can't really predict. I could predict and then maybe like re-edit because like some of them it's like House Stark, right? They're not going to lose in round 1. Like, now, to be fair, right? To be fair, we did let Sansa win the first stream, so I mean, crazy stuff has happened on these streams. But personally, I don't know, man. Oh, also, hold on. While I'm doing this, I wanted to show off some of the emotes because I think these look fantastic. Like, look at those. I just think they look good. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. But I think those look pretty good. I got those done on Fiverr. And then also, I wasn't sure what to do on sub badges, so I kind of just did, like, the sigils. So if you guys are not, like, familiar with that, if you become a member on the channel, you'll get, like, a thing next to your name. So, like, I'll know that you're a member or whatever. And I ended up going with the sigils, basically. So, like, for the first, or, like, a new member, I think you get, like, I don't remember if it was the Dorn sigil you get, or maybe you get, like, or not the Dorn, the Martell sigil, or you get maybe the Greyjoy one. I don't remember. It was one of those 2. I know the higher up ones, like, to get the Targaryen sigil, like, next to your name every time you talk, you have to, I believe, be a member for, like, 24 months, which is kind of crazy, but yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Ooh, Redwine versus Tyrell's kind of a good matchup. Like, I think the Tyrells probably are going to win. That's a good one. Tarly versus Hyde. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. Because I like both of those houses a lot. Again, I will get to your guys' comments here in a second. So I want to make sure like I have this like edited out correctly, and then I can start the Google form. All right, Lannisters. Okay. Lannisters versus House Westerling. That's got to be like maybe one of the worst round 2 matches. Like I like Lannisters. Like I'll be honest, they got lucky because their region really does not have the most amount of great houses. Like the Reach has a ton of awesome houses, and then you got the Westerlands where it's like they got a lot of okay houses. Martell, Blackmont. Okay, Dane, and then who is Dane? Ooh, Yornwood. That's another interesting one. Yornwood. Aaron versus Corbray is another cool one because House Aaron, like, they have a cool sigil and they are a really cool, like, house, like, in general. But in the main story, could you argue House Corbray is more interesting? Probably. I mean, probably. But outside of John Aaron and, like, the murder conspiracy at the beginning, I mean, you could definitely argue it. Baelish versus House Royce, another interesting matchup. All right, so these are going to be your round 2 matchups. I'm going to go ahead and make the Google form here in a second, but I want to answer some comments, and then I'll start doing that. Where did I stop answering comments? I love the Blackfish just out there lurking. Agreed. By the way, I am making a Blackfish video next week, so that is going to be kind of talking about what I referenced earlier, where it was like, what's like the prologue chapter of Winds of Winter, because I think the Blackfish could be involved in it, and all of that. So he will be in that video. Any chance that Jamie meeting up with the BW who Warship could end up with his golden hand working like how Makaro gave Victarion a burning hand? It's possible. I don't think so though. I don't think, because I think George wants Jamie to have his hand like not working and stuff like that. Just because I think it adds more to his character, and I think Jamie becoming that different character after he's got his hand cut off, I think works really well. But yeah, I don't think so. I disagree because it's more tragic that Rob chose her honor over his own. That is true. I mean, I think both are good. I think I just preference the show version of it. I think that was pretty good. What about Rob naming John his heir? So I think I've made a couple videos on that as well. But I definitely think that's going to be one of the big key like things going into when they're trying to decide who should rule the North. So I think we're going to have the Battle of Winter, right, where it's going to be Stannis versus Roose or whatever. And I think there's just a lot of characters that it makes sense that they're going to end up coming north, and we'll kind of get more of, I guess, John's backstory. Because we are going to have, Howland Reed coming up. We have 2 of the people that were there at the signing of Rob's will, and Galbert Glover and Lady Mormont. And then alongside of that, I think Rickon, who would be the rightful Stark to rule at this point, because Bran, I don't think he's going to be back yet. I don't think he's going to be fit for rule. So I think it makes the most amount of sense that John will be put into a place where he's ruling until Rickon either comes of age or something like that, or we have like a host of people. But yeah, that is definitely a really big plot point, the Young Wolf. Rob was also grieving over his dead brothers and fall of his home, so I could see how he fell into it. That is true. That is true, Great Stark. I think the show ruined Rob's... Really? You think the show ruined Rob's characters? Or his character? Personally, I think Rob is one of the best characters in the show. Like, I think the books, we just don't get a lot of Rob. Like, Rob is a character that is much more of a minor character in the books. Like, he's a major character in... Like, he's a major player of the game at the point he is, like, playing at. But the other problem with that is we don't see him a lot. We hear about him a lot. We don't see him a lot, So it's one of those things where in the show, he is basically one of our main characters. Like, it's not just Catelyn. Rob is right there, too. So, I don't know. I think for me personally, I think Rob was better in the show than he was in the books. But that's because we get a lot more of him. We get more time with him, but yeah. Agreed, Devora. Agreed. Not Mace Tyrell. Yeah, that's what it sounded like outside my room. Um, I heard a theory that Kat was named his heir, and that gives Lady Stoneheart a new role because she definitely would not crown John. Um, I'm not sure why Rob would do that. So I'm interested to see Jordan where you heard that theory because I'm not sure why Rob would ever do that. I don't think Catelyn. The problem is, right? I don't think Lady Stoneheart is really going to have a decision in that anyway. I think she's going to end up dying by Arya. But I don't know. Heart that got Mace Tyrell. Yeah, that's one of the best ones. Also, let me know what you guys think about this because I was thinking about this today when I was eating. Should I do a video on maybe the best book to show like portrayals, right? So certain characters, like what portrayals were really, really good. So like Jamie on the earlier seasons was really good. Or I forget what his name is. It's like I forget the actor's name that played Jamie. But like I could do a list like that, or I could do the best acting performances in the show. I think both of those would be kind of interesting ideas. I wouldn't say that the show definitely enhanced Rob character, which even made George regret not making him a POV. Yeah, that's true. Yes, Michiko, thank you. Someone close to Rob was a POV, especially his phrase prior, because that would have been interesting. That's true, and that was always my thing. Is I wanted some more information, and I wanted someone like closer to Rob when Catelyn was away, because there's so many like interesting things. Ugh, I'm losing my voice. I need to take some water. But there's so many interesting plot points with Rob that we get to see in the show, like directly, but we don't get to see in the books. We only hear about it through Catelyn's POV. So I don't know. I get that, Hugo, but I guess I have a different way of how I saw that. I saw that more as like Rob was attracted to her not because she was pretty and stuff, and the actress that played her was really pretty, but also because they had a lot of chemistry and she legitimately was a really different woman from a lot of the women in that world where women are supposed to be, living in castles, not being like a medic type person. I did think it was interesting the way that happened. Hold on, I just scrolled down. Uh, that's true, Jordan. About what you're saying earlier. Black Tide versus Baratheon is worse. Even that's true. I looked it up and it says Yornwood. I don't know. I mean, I don't know honestly. That's true. That is true, Matthew. Um, sorry guys, I'm just reading through chat real quick. Nikolai Kostoval. There we go, guys. Thank you, chat. Thank you, chat. I appreciate it. I think okay, personally for me, I think Alfie Allen top 3 acting performance in the entire show. I also think Ewan Rion, who played Ramsay, did a fantastic job. Jack Gleason, who played Joffrey, was fantastic as well. Like he did so well in that role. Like the fact that people were sending him death threats means he did a really good job at his role. Again, people shouldn't be doing that. That's actually terrible. I don't know why would you do. It's a TV show, like, yeah, but I don't know. So I'm gonna stop talking and I'm gonna start making round 2, so we can progress the bracket. But yeah, Stark or Hummer. There's one thing I wish I was better at, and it's typing. I am bad at typing. For someone that literally likes doing YouTube and stuff like that, and being like tech savvy or whatever, my typing skills are bad. Like they're not terrible, but they're not great. You know what? You guys gave me a video idea. You know, now we've been talking about it. Looking at the relationship between, you know, Rob and Talisa or Rob and Jane, um, doing a video and comparing it from the books to the show in a future video. I'll think about doing that as a video too, because that'd be a really interesting talking point. Blackfire. I'm really interested to see who you guys choose for that one, because I think personally, I would probably go Blackfire, but House Valarian is a really cool house too. If you guys have only read the main series, you probably don't know why I'm saying like House Valarian's super cool, but they have a super awesome history, which again, not gonna go into their history just because I want, like, I don't know, you guys to not be swayed by me telling you kind of their backstories and stuff, but you will definitely get more of their backstory when we get into House of the Dragon. I will say that. Also, I guess I haven't really addressed it. I did make a video when the rumor was out that there is going to be a Jon Snow like sequel, which again, I'm going to cover on the channel if it ever comes out, just because that's just kind of the field I'm in on YouTube, and it makes sense. It's something I can do content on. But I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't care. Like, I really don't care. Like, it just... Why? Like, the show, to me, ended on such a bad point. I don't know why you would want to ever follow that up. Right? If you were ever going to do a sequel to Game of Thrones, I thought they would have done something with fresh new characters going into the future, you know? Like, Jon is a character that, to me, his character's already destroyed. Like, I don't know. He's just a weird character for me, where he's already, like, I just don't care about him. He was such a one-note character for so much of the series that I just don't... or not so much of the series. Let me take that back. For, like, after Season 5. After Season 5, like, Jon really didn't have a character arc. Like, he really wasn't, like, literally for an entire season. Like, he was just, like, he said, like, 3 lines. Like, I don't know, but, yeah, that's my, like, initial reactions to seeing that coming out. I just think there's just so many, like, cooler things they could have done in the universe. I know people always talk about Robert's Rebellion, which, again, I don't think is ever going to get greenlit until the books are finished, if they get finished, because there's a lot of things in there that I don't think George would want to reveal yet. So that's kind of why I don't think that one's going to come out for a while, if it even does. But I think something like Aegon's Conquest would be a really good one that... I think they should do that instead. Like there's so many, like, spin-off shows that I think would have been cool. Like, you could have done like a Oberyn, like, just doing his life. Like, you could it's like almost like The Mandalorian, almost, where it's just kind of like an adventure, right? Where you have Oberyn going around the land, doing all these things, because he was, again, a fan favorite in the show. A lot of people would really like that, and it would be nostalgic because it's really when the show was at its highest, right? And so I think shows like that would have been a lot cooler. Seeing maybe a show on, I don't know, Arthur Dane, that'd be a cool one. There's just so many, there's limitless opportunities on shows you could make that would have a good audience. But I feel like they made a Jon Snow sequel because they're kind of scared that these other shows are not going to do as great. Because Jon Snow is like the face of a Game of Thrones. Like, he is the face of it, right? He became like the main character outside of Daenerys, probably, for the show. So it just makes sense that they would use that character to try and get audience back. But I think they're going around it. I think they're going about it the wrong way, in my opinion. Also, okay, so I was saying, okay, so earlier I was hanging out with one of my friends, okay, and she had never seen the prequels for Star Wars, right? She had seen the originals and part of, like, the sequels. And that just blew my mind, because she's the same age as me, right? or she's not the same age. She's like a year or two younger. But like that is like my childhood. It amazes me. That is legitimately my childhood. Okay, so I have Baelish versus Royce. Okay, so also I'm about to put up the poll right now, and then you guys can vote for whoever you want to win in round 2, and then I'm gonna answer your guys' chats while you guys are doing that. All right. Let's change the settings so you guys can only vote once. We don't want that fiasco to happen again. And copy. Okay, we can minimize this. Bring chat back over. All right. Here you guys go. This is round 2. Replaced. Okay, here we go. Let me go back up, see what comments I didn't really read. Okay. So the reasoning behind Rob naming Cat his heir is that Rob didn't want his heir to be a random Vale relative, and his stipulation was they had to have been of the North, and they had to be known, or had to have known. I guess, but the problem is, like, the North is not going to follow Catelyn, right? Like, that's kind of my reasoning there. And then I don't know. I feel like for me, I just don't. I don't see it. You know, I don't know. I don't see it. But it's an interesting theory to think about. But I just don't think Rob in that situation would have done that, because Catelyn herself isn't really a Northerner. Cat herself is from the Riverlands. So I don't know. I don't think so. I personally do not think so. Viserys' actor is pretty perfect too as well. Yeah, he was really good as well. He did that like hateable character really well. So I get that Catelyn doesn't like Jon, but that's not the way Rob views it. And I think most of the North was pretty cool with Jon being the successor for now, right? Where I think Catelyn, I think Catelyn has Rob's crown, right? And I think that crown could possibly be given to Jon at some point, you know, going through Arya killing Lady Stoneheart, possibly giving her that like mother's mercy type quote unquote thing. She could say, give this to Jon, or tell someone to give this to Jon, because that is what Rob would have wanted. And Lady Stoneheart, that's one of Rob's last wishes. I think she would want to fulfill that. I don't know, though. Mormont showing Cat how women can be leaders in different ways. That's true. That's true. I don't think there's any doubt that Jon is Rob's heir. Yeah, I agree, Hugo. Jono, you want to be surprised. Well, I mean, fair enough, I guess. I don't know, like, what... My thing is, I have no idea what the Jon Snow show is going to be about. Like, the only things I can think about is, like, Drogon maybe comes back to Westeros or something, or someone tames Drogon and Jon's needed, or the White Walkers somehow are still alive, which is very contradicting to the show, but maybe Bran does some time thing, which again, it kind of it doesn't break the canon of the show. It just raises way more questions the later seasons why Bran was never using like his time travel kind of thing, because in the show that's a thing. So I don't know. And Fire and Blood, House Velaryon is pretty basic, but they are Bannerman to Stannis now, so they should be the pretenders of House Blackfire Mason. I don't know about that one, Chief. I mean, I agree with you, though. House Velaryon is a fantastic house in Fire and Blood. But you also got to say, I mean, House Blackfire, they're pretty cool. They're pretty cool. I don't know. If there was a bracket for best performances, it's got to go to Sean Bean. Sean Bean did a very good job in it as well. But I don't know. For me personally, I think there's a lot of characters that did better than Sean Bean, because Sean Bean had a limited like role. Like, he was in the first season. He had a lot of good performances in that role. But I think characters like Michelle Farley, who was Catelyn did really good. She did so good in the role that she was a likable character for me, and her death, the Red Wedding, hit a lot harder, right? Because in the books, I'd already read the show, or I'd seen the show before I like read the books up to like season 3 or 4. So I knew the Red Wedding was going to happen, but I in the books didn't like Catelyn very much, so that part of it did not hit me as hard. Even though her chapter is fantastic. You guys know, for me, the Red Wedding chapter is my favorite chapter of all of the chapters. Renly's Peach is another one that's really good as well. But yeah. Totally agree with you, TG. I don't know why we need to see more of She Was My Queen. Exactly. I swear, Devara, if we go into this show and a single word comes out of John's mouth that's like, she was my queen, or I didn't want it, or something like that. I know a terrible Jon Snow impression, but if I see any of that, I'm gonna lose my mind. Saw someone in that the show might be set 50 to 100 plus years in the future, where both Jon are mortal or something. Possibly. I think it would be a lot cooler if that's the case. The show would be a lot cooler for me if that's the case. But if it's like a couple years, because again, I haven't read much into it because I don't particularly care that much, and I'm not going to make a bunch of analysis videos on it until the show comes out. I'll probably just do episode breakdowns. But that would be much cooler. I do not want to see a show like 5 years after the Game of Thrones. Like, I just don't care at that point. Used to love Stannis, now I'm over him. Why are you over Stannis? Just curious. Why did you fall out of love for Stannis? It would be funny if Ned Stark went the way Boromir went through a trial by combat. That would have been true. That would have been cool. That would have been really cool. Blackfire Rebellion would be cool. Yeah, that's a really good idea for a TV show again. But the problem, Jono, is because they didn't even introduce the Blackfires. Like, legitimately, they are not name dropped once in the entire TV show. Fagon is not a character in there. But my thing is like, the Blackfire Rebellion show is never going to happen unless some of these other shows do well, because nobody knows who the Blackfire Rebellions are. If you're a casual fan, and again, people in the chat, you are not a casual fan. You clicked onto a Song of Ice and Fire stream. That will never happen, really, and until like it's really doing well. People are more interested in the Game of Thrones universe that HBO is doing. They won't probably ever do that, which is really sad because it's a great thing to do. The Nymeria 10,000 ships, yeah, that's a good one. I don't know how interested I am in that show, but I think it's an interesting one. Yeah. Not Loving Stannis more. Those are burning where that's true. Yeah, agreed. It's exactly, Devor. We're on the same page on this whole Jon Snow thing. What about Nine Voyages and YT? Again, personally, I'm not the most interested, but I will again do reviews and stuff. True, IDKY Ned didn't try tribal combat. I know he was a better sword in this show, but still trusting Cersei is worse than trusting the gods. That's true. The problem would have been a trial by combat. Who would Ned have gotten to be in the trial by combat? I don't think he would have won it regardless, honestly. I'm trying to think of who would be a good option for him, because Barristan, he couldn't have said Barristan because Barristan is a Kingsguard. He's sworn to serve for the king. So that's not an option unless the Lannisters are stupid and release, or Cersei's even more stupid and releases Barristan before he dies or something like that for some reason. But I don't know. I think it would have gone the same way. Ned would have ended up dying. But I don't know. And also, Varys did like give him a deal or whatever, so he didn't think he needed to do that. The first long night show. The first long night show was interesting, but the problem with, because how the show ended and how the White Walkers were so not interesting because of how quickly they died off and they did basically nothing. People, I don't think the casual fan would really care about the first long night, Young Wolf. Arya would have been the best sequel. I agree, Matthew. If they were going to do a sequel, I think Arya would have been probably the best option, because she's, again, fan favorite character and something that makes sense that would be interesting. I also agree with you on that regard as well, Citro. I agree with you, Great Scott, to a point. I think the directors are gonna will care a little bit more than D&D did, especially later on in the season. So maybe it'll be better. House of the Dragon, I think, is going to be fantastic. Maybe I have like this false hope, but the way George has been talking about it and how great of a time like frame it is and how awesome it translates to how you could do a TV show on it, I think it's going to be fantastic. Manly's over Bolton, the North remembers. Maybe. I agree, Hugo. I agree. I agree with your sentiment there. Mark Addy did, yeah. Mark Addy did a great performance for Robert as well. Like when I reread the books within the first book, specifically, Mark Addy just directly in my head when I think of Robert. I'm just trying to get through all of these comments. I agree. I like show Catelyn and don't like book Catelyn. Yep, completely agreed with you on that, Evie. Also, you know what? While we're in the stream, hold on. I'm gonna show you guys something I had like printed out or whatever. Hopefully the camera picks this up well. Hold on, let me go to OBS. So I ended up like making this. So I think it looks pretty cool, but I wanted to show you guys. Thank you for the support and getting me to that position, but I have this on my wall, and I wanted to show you guys in the stream. Well, I'm not going to be able to hang it up now, but all right. Well, that's going to just sit there for now. If you guys couldn't really tell what it was, all it was is I basically went on Canva, and I ended up like printing a part of the YouTube notification when you get to be a partner, and then like putting it with like statistics for the channel. I agree with you on really not sure. I think Catelyn's actress did really great. Michelle Farley did a really great job. Thank you, Jono. Thank you. All right, let's go on to the poll. I'm kind of curious. Thank you, Devora. Thank you. I hand put it together myself. Okay, that sounds not how it sounds. I designed it, gave it to Walgreens, and let them make it. I really wish YouTube would give you something when you become partner, but they don't. So, thank you guys for the congratulations, Citro and Devora and all that. Okay, so getting into the bracket again. Stark or Umber? Stark easily won, which, again, I think we saw that coming. I think we saw House Umber losing. It just made the most sense. So House Stark moves on. I'm going to try to edit these as I go along so I don't have to spend a bunch of time doing it after. We're going to change the... Actually, we'll just keep the same highlight color, just to keep it the same. All right, Bolton versus Manderley. Manderley resoundingly won. Again, not surprised there, but House Bolton does go down. All right, Manderley. Here we go. And then Targaryen, Rosby. Should I even look at the thing? I don't think it's going to be close, but yeah, it was 100% Targaryen. And then also House Blackfire moved on against... Hold on. House Blackfire moved on against House Velaryon. Rip House Velaryon. They're a great house, but they just, I don't know, they got kind of a rough draw there. Because out of these, like this bracket, I do think they are the third best there. So I think you guys, so far, I agree with all of your guys' picks so far, for the most part. There are some minor ones where I'm like, maybe I'd go this way. But I think for the most part, you guys did pretty good on this so far. Blackfire. If I can actually position this correctly. All right. Tully versus Blackwood. A little interested on that one. You are the one true partner. Thank you, Young Wolf. In before show, Small John busts through the door with a direwolf head, completely forgetting their actual loyalty. What do you think is going to happen to Littlefinger and Woods? Jordan, I'm going to save my predictions on Littlefinger and wins because I'm actually releasing a video on Littlefinger on Friday. So look for that. It was like 11-minute video, I think, but there you go. Blackfire versus Targaryen. I'm interested to see you guys are going to pick on that one. Hey, what are the rules to the Game of Thrones? Do I need a D20, a couple pair of dice, playing cards, the heads of my enemies? So, what you need is one head of your enemy, okay? Make sure it is a dwarf, kind of like Tyrion, maybe doesn't have a nose. And then you walk up to Cersei, and there you go. You get a lordship and some gold. Giles Rosby would have pulled through to beat the Targaryens, but he coughed himself to death first. You know, it's unfortunate. Blackwood is the one true king. True. Thank you, Matthew. Bran is a secret Blackwood. Confirmed. Yep. 100%. All right. House Tully did end up beating House Blackwood, and House Greyjoy ended up beating House Frey. Which, again, I think you guys saw. I think we saw these coming. The next ones are where it gets interesting, right? Where we're kind of getting through the first two rounds where it's like, there's some matchups where it's like, we just kind of know who's going to win. But, yeah. So, Black Tide, they ended up losing to Baratheon. Connington versus Tarth. We had Connington. So, you guys chose Connington over Tarth. I agree with you guys on that one, actually. But I'm a little surprised because it wasn't really that close, which I thought was interesting. All right. So, let's type in the rest of this side, and then we'll get done with round 2. Tully versus Greyjoy on this side, and then Baratheon versus Connington. I don't know. I think there's some interesting ones here, and then there's not so much. Like, I think Baratheon, Connington might not be the best one. I think that one's kind of very much one-sided, especially with this chat. And I would say a lot of people that come into the live streams are usually a lot like me and are kind of Baratheon boys. But, yeah. All right. Let's see what you guys commented over that. A peach is good to have. A peach is a wonderful thing to have. Stannis should have gotten a peach. Littlefinger could go in some crazy directions for wins, but I can't see him surviving any of them. I agree. I think at the very best, okay, at the very best, I think Littlefinger survives till the beginning of A Dream of Spring. But I think, like, there's like 90% chance he dies in Winds of Winter. Whoa. You know what, Jordan? Okay. For this chat, right? One person, I think it was maybe Alt-Shift X or Alt-Shift X, whichever, one of them, mentioned that Tyrion talks about Cersei in that, like, tone, like, a lot, right? Like, how he's sexual towards her a lot. And I can't unread it. Every time I look at that, and I see Tyrion, I'm like, man, Tyrion really do have a thing for Cersei. Like, I'm just saying. All right, House Tyrell and House Hightower did end up winning this next round. So rip House Redwine, an awesome house, but they are no more. And then House Tarly as well, rip. Maybe maybe not House, Tarly, but maybe specifically Randall Tarly shouldn't be hunting Sam through the woods. Maybe he shouldn't be a dick, and maybe more people would like his house. Also House Lannister did end up winning. How about Clegane? And Clegane ended up beating House Payne. Rip House Payne. They're in a lot of pain right now, even though I just really brutalized their, like, little slashing out. Let's add the text here real quick. So House Tyrell against House Hightower. I think this is another interesting matchup. I think the Hightowers have better lore, but the Tyrells are more present in the story. So, interesting to see how that goes. I just noticed I didn't highlight House Lannister. Hold on. Boom. And then we have House Clegane. I think House Clegane, again, is a cool one. But Lannisters, that's tough. That's tough. All right, let's see what you guys say. Edric or Gendry. I like Edric personally over Gendry, but yeah. Game of Thrones is some sort of YouTube or TikTok challenge trends where YouTubers have to run into cactus and see how long they last. Yes. Yep. That's exactly what's going on. I feel like Littlefinger will become very powerful right up until he die, and maybe he become Aegon's advisor, High Lord, because he has the veil in his pocket, and potentially the Riverlands with help. Possibly, but I'm not sure. Because like I'm gonna say in the video on Friday, it really depends what Littlefinger does with Harry the Heir. Because if Harry the Heir marries Sansa, Littlefinger loses more power than he gains. Right? Because then it becomes Littlefinger then has to manipulate Sansa, not really Robert Arryn, because he's going to be dead in that scenario. So I just think there's a lot more going on with his plan than what he tells Sansa. I don't really think that's what's going on, personally. Also, House Blackmont got destroyed by the House Martell, which, again, I really don't think was too big of a surprise. House Dane also beat House Yornwood. So we have House Dane versus Martell. I think this is a really awesome matchup. I'm interested to see what you guys actually picked for that one. House Aaron or Corbray is a dead tie. So we will have another YouTube poll in there. So let me do House Bayless did end up winning against Royce, but that was another dead tie for House Aaron or House Corbray. Let's just scratch out House Royce real quick. Okay, so YouTube chat. We are going to be doing a YouTube poll. We're going to be doing Aaron. Oh, okay. Misspelled Aaron there for a second. Aaron or Corbray. And then Aaron. All right. Let me know what you guys think. Do this poll, and that is who is going to advance. Make a video about the plot holes of a Song of Ice or a Song of Ice and Fire. I definitely will look into it. I genuinely don't think there's actually that many in a Song of Ice and Fire, but that is something I'm willing to do. I had somebody once ask me about that in a Q&A for 500 subscribers, I think. But yeah, I'll definitely add it to the list. Book Tyrion is straight up a villain, to be honest. Show whitewashed him hard. I wouldn't say he's a villain in the books. I would say he's more of a anti-hero, you know? He's kind of like, here's a good example. He's like Venom in like the Sony universe, I guess, where he's not like a bad guy, but he's not a good guy either. So that's how I would kind of put Tyrion as a character. Tyrion was definitely jealous of Jaime. Yes, he was. Hugo, see, I don't think he's a hero. I don't think he's a villain, but I think he does a lot of things that are very much for his own gain and are, I don't know. It's hard to like say where I'm going with this, but like he does a lot of things that are not hero material. They're more anti-hero kind of stuff. So if young Griff doesn't end up marrying Dany or gets her guest rejected, do you think he kind of jumped the gun a bit of invading Westeros? Matthew, so here's how I look at it. I don't think Dany would have married young Griff, even if he had gone all the way to Meereen either. So my problem is, I think young Griff had no chance of marrying Daenerys just based on circumstances. It's almost the same thing with Quentyn. It's a bit different because Aegon would have had an army, and Aegon would have had a better, like, it would make more sense for why Dany would marry him. But again, Dany was already married by the time he would have been there. And I just think, personally, I just don't see it happening. I think young Griff is either A, going to be too young, and is going to be seen kind of like Quentyn was, where he's just a kid, basically. Because Daenerys kind of has a type. She kind of likes the, bigger dudes, the fighter kind of guys like Dario and Cal. I don't think so though. I think Young Griff just I think Young Griff is doing what's better for Young Griff, in my opinion. After Storm, Tyrion is a pretty damn bad person. He definitely is not a good dude. I think he's going through a lot of trauma and like mental illness stuff that leads him down a bad path. But yeah. Yeah. So Great Scott, that was actually the point. The point of this was to be where I had all of the kingdoms kind of in their own little section and then figuring out which of those, like, out of that section of the world, which house did you like? He does this thing where I'm scrolling up to see comments and then it instantly just goes to the bottom for some reason. House Martell for the win. I love this house. House Martell is a great house. I'm also going to end the poll here. I think you guys have definitely decided it is House Aaron, which it's very interesting the way the YouTube poll was like way more on House Aaron's side than Corbray, and when in the actual like main poll it was a lot closer, like it was 50%. So that is interesting. Maybe you guys rethought it. I don't know. All right, so this is okay. These are your round 3 matches. They're all good to go. There's some matches that are way better than others, but I'm interested to see what you guys think. I'm going to try to get caught up on the chat, and then I will go ahead and start making the next poll. Tyrion helps Penny and Jorah, and later helps Dany and plots against it. So again, how I would say it is that Tyrion does a lot of good. He does a lot of bad. Like, and you know how Stannis' like famous quote, it's like, you know, one good deed does not wash out the bad, and nor bad the good. That's how I look at Tyrion, right? He's a character that does a lot of morally gray things, which is why I don't put him as kind of like a hero type character, because I just don't think that's his role. Yes, Matthew, I uploaded a video the same time the stream started about how Renly could have won the War of the Five Kings. Very similar to the Robb and Balon, just with Renly's character. Can't take a moon door to battle. That's true. Varys would ruin in any attempt. That's another thing that Great Scott I talked about in my video with Littlefinger, is kind of that relationship, and that's another reason I don't think it's going to happen. Fun fact, I've never seen or read, God, I'm just here to troll. Hey, need original name, okay? I have one of my friends that likes to come into this chat, and he's never read or seen, like, either, and he just likes to troll too, so that's fair enough. That is true, Great Scott, that is true. Yeah, Dany is into older men, that is correct. All right. He does smack Penny, that is correct. Do you think Tyrion will lose his tongue by the end? I can see why people think so, because there are a lot of subtle hints, people constantly saying you're going to lose your tongue one day. But for me, no. Because I think that just kind of takes away Tyrion's character, where, like, he just wouldn't be a character anymore. Like, you might as well just kill him. Like, you know, like, I don't know, maybe at the very end of the story, I could see that happening. But I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you guys think about Tyrion losing his tongue? Debate that while I make the next Google form. Okay. Google form. All right. This will be round 3. And also, guys, remember, if the person that did not, or the person that you, or not the person, the house that you guys wanted to win, if they did not win in this, there will be a loser's bracket probably next Monday. I'll keep you guys updated if I end up changing that, but it should be on Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern U.S. Central Time again. And we'll do the loser's bracket. So whoever wins the loser's bracket, which will be the same bracket again next week, but just different matches more or less, they will go up against whoever wins this bracket. Very similar to the way we did it with Sansa in Stannis, who Stannis ended up winning the losers and then ended up winning the whole thing. And also, the first stream we did was kind of screwed up because you could vote multiple times on it. So Yeah, you had one of my best friends who was in the he was in the poll, and he was basically just clicking Sansa over and over and over again. Like he sent me like a video on Snapchat of it, and I was like, okay. All right. Tully versus Greyjoy is probably my favorite match of this round. I'm kind of intrigued to see who's gonna win personally, but that is a tough one in general. Baratheon, Conningtons. Baratheon. So this is, I believe, for top 8, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not actually looking at the bracket right now, really. But I think this is for top 8. So whoever wins this kind of goes into that top 8 part of the bracket. Tyrell Hightower and Hightowers is another really great matchup. Looking forward to seeing what you guys think on that one. Tyrell, Hightower, and then Lannister. Gain. And then we have Martell Dane, and then the other one is Aaron Baelish. Okay. I am kind of interested in who you're gonna pick out of the bottom bracket. Just the Dornish and then the Vale one. I'm kind of interested to see who you guys are gonna pick, because I genuinely think all 4 possibly could make it through, but I'm not sure. Martell, Dane. Also, guys, I've been rewatching the show with one of my friends who has not read the books or seen all of the show, and we're just now getting to the end of season 6. So we're on the end of season 6, and guys, it's gonna be a task and a half to sit through season 7 and 8. Season 6, it's not the best, right? There's a lot of problems with season 6 and season 5 too, but at least they have good payoffs at the end. They have some cool things to look at. Bro, season 7, season 8. I'm not looking forward to that one. All right. Settings. Change this. And then copy. All right, here you guys go. This is for round 3. I'll have this pinned. And there you go. So, guys, you can go ahead and vote on round 3 on who you would like to win. All right. Let me get back to comments. I think is one of the most likely pairs to get their desired happy ending. I don't see anyone else or anyone becoming Lord of Castle Rock in the end, if not Tyrion. That's fair. I think Tyrek Lannister definitely could. I think he is being hidden by Varys, like Citro said as well. I just think his name sounds better as Tyreek Lannister, okay? He just sounds cooler. It sounds better, but whatever. I agree. I think he still ends up with Castle Rock one way or the other. Fair enough. This is true. This is true, Jim. This is when you really want to vote, because these are when it gets tougher. Like you said earlier, now that I saw Allshift's X video on Tyrion losing his tongue, and I can't unsee it. Agreed. There are things when you watch other people's content and you see an idea that it's not the most common idea, right? Tyrion getting his tongue cut off is not the most common thing in the world. Or Tyrion's weird obsession with sleeping with his sister or raping his sister. Once you hear that, you can't unsee it when you read the books. I don't know. That's just how I look at it. Elite 8, that's correct. Tywin's happy ending. Yep. He gets shot on the shitter. There was a Lannister lost his eyes, so maybe if he does lose his tongue, we'll have to hear about him doing things behind the scenes like Lair Strong. That is true. That is possible. At least season 7 and 8 are short. Yes, they're technically short, but the episodes themselves are longer, so it kind of almost evens out a little bit. But Quincy Archer, yeah, I would much rather have been reading the books, but at least season 6, it's for non-book readers, right? The Hodor reveal is pretty cool. You have the Battle of the Bastards, which is cool, even though it has so much plot armor. It's cool to watch at least. You've got the season finale is pretty, but yeah. Season 5 absolutely butchered Stannis and Dorne, though. Yeah. And Barristan. Aaron Barristan the Bold absolutely destroyed that one too. Uh, Yikes. But yeah, no, I'm not looking forward to season 7 and season 8. I have only watched season 7 and 8. I think I've watched season 7 twice, and then I watched season 8 once, like fully. I've seen bits and pieces here and there after, but like, I'm not gonna rewatch them. Like, I genuinely on. That's true, Jordan. That's fair enough. On your unhearing that cat could be the air. Um, it's one of those things where like the season finale of season 8, I had read the spoilers. Like I had read like the leaks because the season up to that point had so unbelievably been disappointing, and I had just been like actually pissed off that I read the season finale because I was like, how could this possibly get any worse, right? And when I read the leaks, I was like, there's no way this is right. There's no way that this is right. Like, Bran becoming king and the reasoning for behind why he became king actually blew my mind. Like, I came home from work and usually me and my dad would read, or not read them, we would watch the series together. And he'd already watched the last episode, so I came home and I was just watching the episode in just shock. The first half of it, I just sat there and just not in shock because I knew it was gonna be bad, but as more of as in just like numbness to it, right? And then it just got to like that ending like part where it's like the trial, or not the trial. It's like, what would you call it? I don't know. When the people come together, the decision who becomes king, and it just blew my mind. I just I forgot how to write David. I just can't believe the reasoning for Daenerys, like why Rhaegal dies is because we just forgot about the Iron Fleet. Like, what are you talking about? Literally, I don't know if it's in that episode or the episode before. They literally were like, yeah, the Iron Fleet's still there, when they were like talking about their military strategy or whatever. Like, it just blows my mind. Barristan getting killed by a group of unarmored and untrained nobles with knives was pathetic. Yep. It was literally a kill to have shock value. It had no logic behind it. It was just shock value kill. But yeah, I adore Barristan. I think he really cares for Dany. I do too. I think he really does. He's just trying to do his best. I really love the Barristan and kind of Ned parallels to two people that don't like to play the game, that are trying to do it, kind of for the better good. But do you think he jumped the gun invading Westeros with the knowledge that he might have to face Dany, who has dragons, and the Unsullied in Second Sons? So I think right now, Aegon, his plan is not to go against Dany. I think what Aegon wants, and what he was kind of following the advice of Tyrion on, was that Aegon wants to more or less look like a more reasonable candidate for Dany, taking Storm's End, a major castle and a stronghold that Dany could use as a base, having an army already, being battle tested, being more of a grown up, right, and being a kingly type figure. So when Dany comes over, it's Dany coming to Aegon, or them meeting as equals. It's not like the Quentyn situation, right? That is what I think Aegon's plan is. I don't think the plan is to actually having to fight Dany. I don't think at this point Aegon thinks there's any chance he's ever going to have to face Daenerys until they end up meeting and they kind of have that issue. Aegon invading before Daenerys kind of makes sense because, like Tyrion said, now he has cards put on the... Agreed, Jordan, yeah. Who has a better story than Bran the Broken? Wait, you mean the guy they literally left out? Exactly, Sideshow. Genuinely, it made more sense for me for Edmure to become king than Bran. Like, I don't know. At least Edmure was like a veteran of a war. He was, lord of one of the Seven Kingdoms. It made sense. Like, I don't know. Yeah, Bran is so hard to read in the books. Like, I'm okay with Bran, and I kind of enjoy him the first 2 books. And then after he leaves Winterfell, I just don't care. Like, some of his stuff's interesting when he actually starts becoming like the Three-Eyed Raven and stuff like that. But like after that, or like during like their journey getting there, I just don't care. Yeah, Dany. my problem was not Bran becoming king. It was like, I guess it was, but it was like Bran offered nothing to the story. If Bran had some inclination of why he would become king, yeah, I don't know. But do you honestly think he can win with just the Golden Company? Even with no, I don't, Matthew. I don't, Matthew. I believe personally that he can win Westeros until Dany comes over. Because then once Dany comes over, I think Aegon is going to be someone that's very confident now at this point, maybe arrogant after probably taking the Iron Throne by the time Dany like comes to Westeros. And I think that alongside of with Dany thinking he already is going to be the Mummer's Dragon in her prophecy, I think Aegon then will end up dying. But I don't think Aegon right now has it at any point in his mind right now thinks that he is going to be fighting Daenerys. Too bad the elephants are somewhere. Yeah. Another possible, if you haven't done already, will Euron sack Old Town? That is a good one. That is a good one. I'm definitely gonna add that one. But I personally don't think he will sack it all the way. I think it's gonna be one of those things where he sacks maybe partially of it, and all that. But I don't think he's gonna do it the whole way. Agreed, Tolkos. Agreed. Yeah, that's a really okay. What Devore you just said, that is really like that's a really awesome thing. That's really shows you how much Barristan does care about Daenerys, and he kind of views her kind of like as a daughter. Sansa telling Edmure to sit down and annoy me. He should have said no and kept talking the shit he had to go through. He deserved. Yeah, agreed. I agree, Sideshow, and I've made a video about that. How Edmure is just done dirty. Because Edmure is someone that I, for the sole purpose of being a Tully, in my opinion, is probably out of the main story outside of like Hoster Tully, is probably the second best. Also, thank you for popping in the stream, Devora. Thank you for commenting and all that stuff. Appreciate it. Agreed with you on that one, Scott. Sansa disrespecting. Yeah. I saw that. He did deserve respect, Kato. What about Jaqen at the Citadel and Sam's fate? So, personally, I think Sam is going to live. I think the main thing with Sam is going to be Euron is going to get his horn, which I believe is the Horn of Winter. And then Jaqen at the Citadel, I think Jaqen is trying to learn more about the dragons. I think that's his main reasoning why he's there. Because I think him alongside the Maesters, or not him, but their organization, we'll say, alongside of the Maesters, have the same goal of kind of not wanting magic, quote unquote, the dragons. Yeah. No, I don't think Dany is going to fear Aegon at all, right? Because Daenerys is going to have probably a better force. I think she's going to have the dragons. But with that being said, I think Aegon is going to very much, the power could get to his head. All right, so let's move on to the round 3 results. I'm going to take a little bit of a water break. I might do that in the future, Jordan, about the Dany's prophecies and stuff. I think that's one of like Dany for me as a character I don't really like reading too much, but her prophecy chapters with like Quaithe or the House of the Undying, those are like her best chapters in my opinion. I also do like Dany in book 5, which I know is like a very not loved opinion just because she's not doing much in my opinion, but I like watching her rule personally. All right, getting into our first matches. Personally, I think we all saw this coming, but House Stark did beat House Manderley. Now, Targaryen versus Blackfyre was very close, guys. It was like a 4-vote difference, I think. But House Targaryen did beat House Blackfyre. And then Tully versus Greyjoy was Tully. Tully ended up edging out again, very close, edging out House Greyjoy. Baratheon versus Connington. Baratheon won that very easily. So Baratheon gets the win there. Tyrell versus Hightower. Again, extremely close. So make sure, guys, in your next round, if you are not voting and you want to see one of these houses get through, make sure you're voting because these are very close. Outside of like the Lannisters and the Baratheon matches, these have all been very close. Martell Dane went to the Martells again, really close, but the Martells did make it through. And then House Aaron versus Baelish. House Baelish barely won, like very barely won there. So let's see what our match is going to be. It's going to be House Baelish versus Martell. House Lannister versus Tyrell. That's kind of a... I won't lie to you guys. I kind of put those two next to each other because I thought these two would probably make it out. And I wanted to see who you guys liked more because they're in an alliance. I just thought it was kind of cool. But Mannerly's out. So we have Targaryens versus Starks. Tough one. And then Tully versus Baratheons. Tough. Let me fix these real quick. So Stark. Also, guys, I won't lie to you guys. Okay, let me know. I know this is gonna be different for people that, you know, work like in the morning. Like you're not gonna. This is just not a feasible eating schedule. But let me know what your guys' eating schedule is, because mine is like, so I'm on like a 1,750 calorie deficit at the moment. So I eat like a big meal about noon, because again, I can't eat in the morning. I just can't. I have some problem where when I eat in the morning, it just makes me very nauseous and like I feel like I'm gonna throw up. And I've had that since high school. So I really only eat till I usually eat around 11 to noon for my first meal. And then I have like I wouldn't even say a meal, but it's like a 300 calorie usually meal around like 5 or 6. And then I have like one meal like later at like 9. So let me know, what do you guys have for your like your eating schedules? Like, do you guys have just a normal traditional like when you get up, so like 9 or 8 or 7, whenever, and then you're like noonish, and then like you're like 6 o'clock? Or do you have some weird schedule like me? I have a really weird eating schedule. And also I get really hungry before I go to bed, so I always make sure I have a lot more of my calories at the end of the day than the beginning. Like I usually have like a bulk, like 500 to 600 at the beginning, 300 like in the middle, 200, 300 in the middle, another like 5 to 700 depending on how much I ate during the day, and then like maybe like a 200 snack at that night. So let me know what you guys think about that. Okay. Businessmen don't want dragons back. They end the yep. I agree, Citro, with that completely. I would, yeah, Dany's dragons are the biggest threat, in my opinion, to anyone trying to take the Iron Throne at this point. Mannerly did lose. I think the reason people go against the Mummer's Dragon prophecy is, I think it says beware the Mummer's Dragon or something along those lines when you're reading it. But yeah, I do see what you're saying, Hugo. I just think it makes logical sense for Aegon to be the one going against Daenerys instead of someone like a Cersei. Unless, because this is the biggest problem. If Dany comes over and her only problem is the White Walkers, I just think it goes against what we've been building towards with Daenerys' character. I think she is going to be definitely a big, vital part of that, but I think she's also needing to be involved with someone like Cersei or Aegon, and I think it makes a lot more sense with Aegon and would be a lot cooler story-wise, in my opinion. Agreed, Jordan, agreed. I'm also surprised at Greyjoy's loss. If you want me guys to be honest, just based upon how far I've seen a lot of the Greyjoys go in past streams for characters, I'm actually really surprised that Tully's won as well. Yep, rip the Blackfires. Jim wants a recount. Was it that close? Let me look back. It wasn't really close, Jim. I'm sorry. It was like 72%. So it was like 16-6 on votes. I'm sorry. That sounds like a college eating schedule. Well, Mason, to be fair, I am in college, so yeah. If I eat soon after waking up, I feel like garbage. Breakfast has always been my bane. Yeah, which is really sad, Sideshow, especially for me, because breakfast food is legitimately some of my favorite type of food, but I almost never, like, eat breakfast food really anymore. But yeah, I usually have Frey meat pies at around noon. Hey, very nutritious. I support that, Scott. I participate in second breakfast though. Yep. In my opinion, I think that was a dumb move on Aegon's part, because if got rejected in Sardinia as a threat, he might have made an alliance with the slavers and then invade Westeros. Maybe I don't know. Okay, hold on. Normal lunch, dinner, but snack too much before bed, and so just go for coffee for breakfast. Makes sense, Danny. Makes sense. Quaith mentioned a sequence of people will encounter the Mummer Dragon is one that she mentioned, but she also mentions Lion Kind, and Sons in the same. Yeah. But is it? Let me look up the context. Let me look up the quote, because I swear, and now I haven't read the quote in a while, because I got done with, that's in what book? I don't remember what book that's in. Is it in book 3, maybe? The end of book 3. Let me look up the Quaith Danny line. I want to know exactly the context, because I don't want to make sure. I'm gonna make sure I'm not. The glassness soon comes the pale mare after the others. The sons and the mummers trust none of them. Remember the undying, beware. Okay, so yeah, so that is actually interesting, because I guess I've like consciously taken that a different way. That's a good thing to think about. That when we look at the mummer or the lion, which is Tyrion, and all that, it kind of makes sense in the line of a lot of those characters have good intentions. With the Dark Flame, being Merquaro, and the Kraken being Victarion. It does make sense, but I think trust none of them is the big part, and I think Victarion is someone that is not going to be as helpful to Daenerys as maybe she wants, maybe, because I think Daenerys is going to reject Victarion, and Victarion could try and take a dragon from her, but I'm not sure. Mason, you are also in college, so you have a weird, it's the struggle, Mason. It's the struggle. Kato, where were you asking on the where do you vote question? On which one, actually? So, Hugo, I definitely get what you're saying, honestly. I see where you're coming from, so that makes sense. I fast. So I eat at noon and then stop at 8, then repeat just black tea and coffee and water in the morning. Makes sense. All right, makes sense. Our only real question would be is how could Cersei's arc even work should Aegon win? I think this is why George's hard time, too many arcs. So I think the way Cersei's arc could work that would make sense is we see something like the sack of King's Landing again. It's just what I think could happen is, now this is the hard part, is because I think Jaime needs to be involved in it. So I think the Riverlands plot really needs. Oh, fourth round voting. Who am I doing it? Where do you vote? Sorry, it should be the pinned comment at the top. It should be this pinned comment at the top. That should be the. Or no, sorry, I haven't put it up yet. My bad. I haven't put it up yet. My bad. Let me do that. I've been talking a little bit, but let me go ahead and start making that. I will put it up, and then I will tell you when it's up. But yeah, and then I think Jaime could end up killing Cersei because of all that. Oh no, Matthew, because here's I could definitely see him helping with the Volantis fleet, right? And being someone that on the surface is very helpful. But we have to remember the real reason he's going there is to make him or make her his queen. And Daenerys is just not going to go with that, I don't think, right? So then it becomes, okay, what does Victarion do then, right? I think he might try the horn. I think one way or another he might try the horn. And again, that's going to be betraying Daenerys. I think Daenerys would kill him. So I'm not sure. I mean, maybe he could be an ally to Daenerys, but I just don't see it with a lot of the motives we're being given and what is fueling Victarion. And he's not the smartest individual anyway. So what do you think of Preston Jacobs' winners? Okay, so I'm going to make sure I screenshot that because I have not actually watched it, Danny. I have not watched it at all. I was going to do a reaction to it, is what I was going to do. I was going to do a reaction of it, like whether that be a live stream or being just a video, and then giving my thoughts on it, so I'd be completely blind on it and just give you guys my reaction to it. I have never seen it. I have never talked about it or anything like that. Hold on, Mom. All right, stream, give me a second. I will be right back. All right, I am back. So I have everything ready to go for you guys to vote. I'm just changing a setting real quick, and then this will be sent to you guys right about now. All right, there you guys go. All right, so the replaced comment should be the voting for the 4th round. All right, so Danny also isn't there, so likely, yeah, that's also true. That's something I forgot about. But I think Daenerys will get back around the same time, like the war might be over and Victarion's like getting, yeah. I agree with your comment there, Citro, as well. I'm shook that Tully beat the Greyjoys. I am too, if you want me to be honest. I did think the Greyjoys were going to win, but I do think the Tullys have a better history, in my opinion. I believe Victarion will join Daenerys in the hopes of getting revenge on Euron, and also because he will be convinced by McCarthy. That's true. That is fair, Hugo. That could be that. You know, I didn't think about that element with Marquaro in there, but that could be a possibility as well. I'll be honest. I think I'm most intrigued for Stark and Targaryen. Okay, we're gonna move this because it looks weird. Okay, so Stark, Targaryen. That's a good one. And then Tully, I don't know. I think I know who's probably going to win all of these except for one, if I had to guess. But, yeah. Hey, one dude caused a lot of problems, Tulkas. Also, he only had to face House Belmore and Royce. So, I mean, not the toughest competition. I mean, Royce is a very good and awesome house, but House Belmore, I mean, they're important when it comes to the Vale, but I don't know. And Tulkas, all I'm going to say is, what Baelish may lack in size, he packs a punch somewhere else, okay? I still think it'd be cool if Victarion sailed back to Westeros like how Euron did in the show, because I know he has a desire to be. That is true. Chaos is a ladder. That is true, Quincy. That is true. That one man has schemed his way to bring Lord Paramount to the Riverlands and Regency of the Vale. That is correct. That is correct. Like I've always said, Littlefinger to me, first 5 books are kind of like Littlefinger upward books, and then I think the next one's going to be like a down. And I think Varys is going to have like the up, like the good book for this one, for Winds of Winter. IDK, I've always liked Littlefinger because he's from a humble background. Plus, the houses he's going against aren't exactly world beaters. That's true. I mean, I think Littlefinger is genuinely one of the best characters in the books. And I don't have a huge problem with him, but yeah, I don't know. I just think, you know, Ned's our main character, so it's like Littlefinger betrayed Ned. It's like, you're not supposed to like Littlefinger, but I completely understand everything that Littlefinger's doing. I understand why he's doing it. Oh, waters went down the wrong pipe. Ugh. Also, for my water connoisseurs like we were in last stream, we're back to Aquafina, guys. So we got rid of that nasty Dasani, and we're back to Aquafina. If you weren't part of last stream or you didn't catch that part of it, we had like a good 5-minute discussion on what was the best water, and the only acceptable answers are like, and I'm talking about like not like local. Like there was a lot of local water we talked about in last stream, but I feel like Aquafina is kind of that top tier water. But Dasani, bad. Nestle water's not that Nestle, or is it like Nestle water? Pretty solid. But then again, I could just see him just making the alliance with Dany just to get the Iron Island independence. That's true. I mean, yeah. I mean, it makes a lot of sense, but at the same time, would Daenerys actually give them independence? I don't know. Hugo, I also prefer Varys over him. I just like Varys as a character more than Littlefinger. I don't know if I would say Littlefinger has more plot armor. I just think Littlefinger has a lot of situations where he's kind of planning for one to fail so that the other may. I don't know. Littlefinger's a hard character, but I think you look at some of the things he does and, like, you know. Yes, I believe we agreed was the water Dany drank at the end of. Yes, correct, Sideshow. That's correct. I'm glad you remembered. Very important. Because that Dasani water is just, that's poo water. I'm going to let this round go till 9, and then I'm going to reveal who won. So again, if you have not submitted your voting, I guess, I will say, go ahead and get that done. All right, so I want some more video ideas, guys. Give me some more video ideas. I like stocking up on video ideas. I like having a nice plethora of things I can choose from when I'm. I usually like think about what video. Well, I think about what videos I'm gonna do throughout the whole week, but I try to narrow it down on Thursday usually, like Wednesday, Thursday. So today or tomorrow. But let me know what you guys got. What do you guys want to see? Because you guys are the audience. What do you guys want to see? Sometimes there's videos that I really enjoy making, and like I genuinely like think they're good videos. Sometimes you guys just aren't interested in them, which is fine, but you know, just want to see what you guys are interested in. Do we think Littlefinger manages to dispose of Sweet Robin and wins before his downfall? So I think personally that I'm trying to think. I personally think Sweet Robin, a lot of his power is tied, or Littlefinger's a lot of his power is tied to Sweet Robin. And the plan he tells Sansa makes him lose power. So I personally think Littlefinger may keep Sweet Robin alive. That is true, Hugo. Littlefinger does make a lot of like moves that they just kind of end up working out for him, you know? Like, a lot of the stuff he kind of does with Ned and how he's pushing him against the Lannisters. If Robert Baratheon didn't die, Robert Baratheon didn't die on that trip, I don't think that Littlefinger would have been in a place of power. Like, I don't think he would have been there. Like, really a lot of really big circumstances happen to where Littlefinger comes out on top over Ned in book 1. Have you watched Invictus Got Season 8 campaign strategy video? I have not. I may look at it. He is overdosing Robin on Sweet Dream, which again, to me, it's weird. Because again, like I've said, it doesn't really make sense why though. Like why? Like I know Robin Aaron is eventually going to have to die, but I just like Littlefinger power wise makes more sense with Robin than Harry the Heir and Sansa. But I don't know. That's true, Hugo. That's really true. There's a really good theory by Brendan B. Fish on the upcoming battle of Steel Storm's End between the Golden Company and Tyrells will mirror the battle of Agincourt IRL. That could be a cool video. That would be okay. That'd be a good one. That's an interesting one. My thing is though, I don't know. You could do a video on the sea snake. That's a good one. That's a good one. That could be a good character one to do for House of the Dragon because I haven't really talked about him too much in videos before. I've done like a character analysis of Rhaenyra, Alicent, and Otto. I think I did one on Daemon as well. Maybe I don't know if I did one on Daemon. I did a lot of videos surrounding Daemon, but yeah. It's called The Blood of the Conqueror series, and outlines everything Aegon related pretty well. Oh, that's cool. I might have to look into it. Aegon the Conqueror just is a fantastic, like that whole like time where he takes over Westeros is really intriguing to learn about. I did a video on that, and I think it was probably like a couple months ago at this point, but that was probably one of my favorite videos to do as well. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start revealing our round 4 winners. This is for top 4. Okay, so our first one, Starks versus Targaryens. This one really wasn't close, which is very surprising to me, because personally, I would have actually said the Targaryens were better than the Starks, but you guys decided the Starks. So the Targaryens, sadly, they will finish at the top 8. You know what's funny? Actually, none of these were close. I'm just looking at them now. None of them were close. The Baratheons ended up taking down the Tullys. It was not even close. And then Baelish versus Martell. We'll do that one in the bottom. Martell destroyed them. And then who won, Tyrell or Lannister? That was Lannister. So, again, these actually were not very close at all. But Lannister versus Martell will be on this side. And then Baratheon and then Stark on this side. Kind of interesting the way that kind of played out. But let's put these in here. So I have Lannister up here. And then we've got Martell down here. Will Doran get his vengeance? Or will he die? That's a good talking point. I think, you know what's funny? I think Doran will actually get, like, his vengeance on the Lannisters just for his entire, like, family to get wiped out by Dany, basically. I think that's a really interesting thing to think about, but... Okay, we're going to do YouTube polls for these. We're going to do these a little different. Just so you guys know. But yeah. I just find it funny to me that Dorne actually survived. That, I mean, it is kind of funny that in all of that, like, everybody goes down real quick and whatever, and here's Dorne. Nah, we're good. We're good. We're not dying here. Grey Stark and Bolton Alliance, sure. I feel like Harry the Heir is doomed to die from Littlefinger too, or he will do something stupid and get killed by one of Littlefinger's guys like Lothar Brune. But I don't know what the plan is from there. I agree. I think Harry is going to die. It just makes logical sense for me that Harry is going to die, and plans that were told never kind of happen the way that they're said. I just think Harry is going to die. I think Harry could be killed by Littlefinger, or maybe Sansa figures that out, and maybe that's how she starts to turn on Littlefinger, maybe? I'm not sure. All right. So this will be the first poll. We're going to do Stark or Baratheon. Stark. For people's OCD, I did not capitalize Baratheon on accident. I'm going to go back and do that because that will bother me. Okay. Here we go, guys. There you go. Fill out that poll. That is for the first match in round 5. This is for a final 2 placement. The Martell words are my pooping video. I totally could see Harry the Air dying in the Terminator. That's in the Windsor. Yeah, agreed. I could definitely see that too, Mason. That is true. People would point to Littlefinger. That is a good point. He'd have to make it a very convincing death, and I'm not sure how he would do that, actually. I think they botched it up and kill Rhonda Royce, too, along with Harry. That's fair. That's true. Stannis of House Manus wins. Possibly. That'd be a big dub for... I mean, Stannis already won Best Character. So, we'll see. We'll see. The Martell words. Yeah, I understood what you were saying, Matthew. On the Martell words are my pooping words. All right, it is dead tied right now with Stark and Baratheon. It's dead tied. We have 14 votes right now on it. Brett, the stream has been flowing. The vibes have been good, and I've been talking a little bit more in this stream, okay? And by the way, Brett, I'm also just saying I'm not going to be on it like after the stream like right away either. I got to actually eat, but yeah. The only thing I don't like about Aegon's conquest is that the Vale got taken by a dragon ride. I mean, it's that's true, but like how else was George going to have like, because the Eyrie is just so like you literally cannot take the Eyrie. Like you can't. Now they could have had like the Targaryens maybe blow down part of the Vale or something, but I just think it makes logical sense that that's how the Eyrie kind of had to be like, you know, mirrored in there. Baratheons deserved the win. They are the Fury. All right, all right. I mean, I don't disagree, but I'm just saying my best and favorite house already got eliminated, so that is the Targaryens, so we'll see. If we were going off of main story, it would be the Baratheons, but you know. I'm going to let the poll go for a little longer. It's extremely close. Can I put up multiple polls at the same time? I don't think I can do that, can I? No. Okay. I'm there when you need me, but you're not there when I need you. Brett, shut up. It's just Apex, okay? We're just going to get smoked again. Well, we actually didn't get smoked. We did get a win last night, but I mean, All right, I'm going to give it to House Baratheon. They seem like they have most of the vote. So House Baratheon is the winners. Rip the House Stark. They are going to go on to the final. We're going to have House Baratheon versus either Martell or Lannister. Let me put that as a poll. Let's end this poll. Let me detach this or unpin that message. Poll. We have Lannister, Martell, all right, there we go, boys. There we go. Just Apex. You're the one. Hey, Ray, you gotta do what you gotta do. I'll admit, I have a bias towards the Baratheons, especially in the current story, just due to how screwed they got over the course of the story. That's fair. What are your favorite house words? Doughy, mine are definitely Fire and Blood. I think they have the coolest words. Ours is the Fury is a good one as well. Hear Me Roar is good. The North Remembers is good, but I definitely do think that it's Fire and Blood. Will the phrase, a better question, Reese, better question is, will the phrase be alive to rule the twins? I'm not so sure. I think we're going to get a Revenge Red Wedding And then I just think the Frey name might get passed on to someone else. I think the Freys might just kind of lose their claim to the twins. Direwolf killed by the stag at the beginning of the story was foreshadowing the Baratheons being the Starks here today. That is correct. That is correct. George knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing. What do you think, Reese? What do you think? You think Big Walder will rule the twins? Because I'm not set on the Freys even being alive. All right, we're just gonna end the poll. It's not even close. We're just gonna end the poll. Lannisters won. Not exactly surprised by that. I mean, I think the Martells are a great house, but I think the Lannisters at this point are just a way cooler house in general. All right, so the final poll: who is going to win? Going to be the Baratheons, the Lannisters. Baratheon. All right, there you go, lads. This is for the winner of the winner bracket. We will do a loser's bracket next week, but this is for the winner's bracket. Best house stream or bracket. From now on, Greece needs to be addressed as my lord. That would be so weird if you guys came into one stream and they just started calling me my lord Goblin or something like that, or my Lord Grease or something. Or my lord if you're not a mod. Oh. All right, fair enough, Reese. I think my thing is maybe the Freys don't die off, but I just think in general they're going to be disowned from like the twins, like whether that be through the Tullys giving it to some other house or something else, or someone else. I mean, I just don't think the Freys are going to be allowed to rule after the Red Wedding, and I think the Tullys will be reinstated with Edmure or someone like that. I definitely call him other things than my lord. Yeah, Brett, you always call me, let's think. You call me bad teammate. Let's think. Jewish boy. Because they look Jewish. And also, there was this one teacher in one of my grade school classes that thought I was Jewish, and my friends just went with it, so now I'm Jewish, apparently. So, Kneelers. Oh, this is tough. I like Baratheons more, but I think the Lannisters have a larger number of great characters in the story. That's true. It's actually Goblin King, but try again. Okay, so I do have another YouTube channel that I was gonna upload gaming stuff on. It was gonna be called Goblin King, but that didn't happen. So my gamer tag still on like Xbox and Steam is Goblin King though, and Discord. It is Goblin King. So if you ever join the Grease Goblins Discord, my actual name on there is the Goblin King. It's not actually the Grease Goblins. If Lannisters don't win, I'm gonna be sad. Bobby B was a legend, but Tywin will always come for you in your house. That's true. He will. How's the poll going? Oh, the Baratheons are winning. Baratheons are winning right now. Are you guys going to let this stand? Is this your final verdict? Or will we, at 9:15, the poll will end. Okay? 9:15, this poll will come to an end. Yeah, I know he made the Vale way too parallel. I think the only way I could see it happening is if the Targaryens maybe aided them in fighting in a united hill tribe army, or maybe kidnapping. Yeah, that's true. That could have been one. Any man who must say, I am the Goblin King is no true Goblin King. Okay, Tywin. All right. All right, Jordan Lannister. All right. All right. You look like Aegon the Unworthy. Young Wolf, are you talking about me? I drink and I know things are my favorite. That's a good one. The Council of Grease Goblins elected him as king. Oh, okay. All right. There were only 4 legit Baratheons in the story, and now there's only 2, which is a big rip. That's true. That's a big rip. Not what you like to see. All right, I think It is 9-14, but I don't think the result's going to change much. So, Baratheon has won the fan-voted poll. The Lannisters, sadly, they put up a good fight. But this time, in this timeline, the Battle of Blackwater was won by Stannis and the Baratheons. The great winners of our time. Rip the Lannisters. They had a good run. They had, I forgot to actually... Hold on. I forgot to actually change this. Do that. And that. All right. This is your finalized bracket. I'll be honest. YouTube voting is it's kind of sketchy. We don't know. But yeah, this will be the conclusion of the stream. Is Shireen Grayscale coming back? Possibly. But this is the ending of the stream. The Baratheons did pull out the win here. It was a great stream. Love you guys as always. And I will see you guys